Welcome to the Militia Gaming community. I'm Trigger, and I'm back with another daily build video. If you don't know what this series is all about, I'm doing builds on the channel every single day because you guys have been generous enough to send in builds to me. I have over 600 builds to try, and if I do one every single day, this is going to keep me busy for like 2 years. So I'm going to try to get all of these builds out there to the community so you guys can see them and you can see how they perform on the track. So let's get into it. Let's go. All right, real quick before I get into the video, I stream every single week on Kick and YouTube, so try to catch one of those if you want to send me a question directly and have it answered in stream. Also, I play with most of you guys almost every single stream, so you guys are welcome to come into the streams and we can play together. All right, let's get into this build. So this build was sent in by a person named Mercy. Thank you so much for sending this in. It's a 2020 Corvette Stingray in S tier. Let's take a look at the stats. All right, for this one, we're using the 494 horsepower 6.2 liter V8. It's got 697 horsepower, 630 foot-pounds of torque, and a 10.4 quarter mile with 202 top speed with a 2.50 to 60. 202 top speed is actually pretty good for S. It's basically what you need to be in order to be competitive in that field. So hopefully this thing drives well. We're going to be testing this on Blue Collar and Fishhook. Those are my two test courses for S tier. So let's get out there and see how this thing does. All right, the first race up is Blue Collar. My best time on this is actually a 2:01.99 with the F40, and that's automatic. I can run it a little faster in manual, but 2:01.99 is what we're shooting for with this car. I don't know if we're going to get there, but we're going to do our best to try to keep this thing on the road and see if we can't get a decent time. All right, launch is all right. It's not too bad. Lots of NOS though. All right. Oh, we're going to get into a mess with Lyric here. Nice, we avoided it. Let's get across the grass here.
Patrol here, we are engaging.
Very easy to micro drift this thing, which is nice. Not a bad corner.
I like this. This is why I race.
Okay. It's kind of weird, to be honest with you. Like it wants to be a grip car, but it also just doesn't. Man, the traffic on this race is a little annoying, I'll be honest. It really dies in 5th and 6th gear. I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't think the time is going to be that great because it really just doesn't want to. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it's doing, to be honest with you. Like it wants to drift, but it also wants to grip, dude. It's very strange. And it doesn't really, I don't know, dude. Like the counter, why is that guy's bubble so big, dude? What is happening? This is the weirdest thing. Look on the mini-map. It's so distracting. If it messes up my run right here, I'm gonna be mad. I went a little wide there into the dirt. We're gonna catch a little yellow off him. Dirt for days, bro. See, look how slow this is. 215. 218. Like, I don't understand. It wants to be fast, but it's just not. I'm really confused by this build. I'm confused, and I think the issue is that it doesn't know what it wants to be. Its handling slider is set directly in the middle, which means it's not a grip car and it's not a drift car. And that's exactly how it feels when I'm driving it. I think it needs to be rebuilt differently. I just really don't know. I'm going to take it on this next course, which is the Fishhook, but I don't think it's going to give me a good time. The thing really dies in 6th gear, 5th and 6th gear actually. When it gets to 5th, you can notice it just doesn't climb anymore. Let's see how it does on Fishhook. Who knows, man? Let's see. All right, here we go on Fishhook. Fastest time on this is a 2:18.7 with the Ferrari F40 again. So we'll see if we can get anywhere close to that. I'm not super hopeful. The car is pretty difficult to drive, and it dies in 5th and 6th gear. So let's see what happens.
Can we get this over with? I got places I need to be.
Okay, Johnny.
See if we can farm some off this police car.
Patrol here. I'm gonna
There
take
we
this
go.
street punk down.
Again off this one. Alright, not bad, not bad. That should get us... Oh my gosh. How did I not crash out on that? Alright, we're rolling with it though.
This race has been a lot of fun.
It's very difficult to control around that corner. There's a small jump in the middle of it as well, so it's tough, but did my best. Even with all of that NOS, I just can't seem to get the car
Patrol, joining the other pursuers.
to go to top speed. Its top speed is 202.
On stretch, you better not choke.
Ooh, it's drifty on this corner.
Team, this is Patrol. We're pulling out of the chase.
But see, a lot of cars come out of that turn with a full 3-bar, and because this car's so drifty and so difficult to control, I wasn't able to actually get a grip NOS coming out of that corner. And that, I'm gonna blame that on a skill issue, but at the same time, like, that speaks to how good the build really is, because
Dispatch
if
Patrol
the build
joining
is
in on the chase
easier to
too.
use, then it can be used by more people, and I think that's better.
This book is so
Alright, I hit the wall,
stupid.
but we're running with it because... Oh my god, the car is just so slidey. It's just like I don't know, it's not quite like I'm on ice necessarily, but it's definitely like... The car doesn't know what it wants to do. Like, that corner wanted to grip, that's why I hit the wall, as opposed to drifting, which is what I wanted it to do, so that I could use my burst. It's just a very confused build, I think. And... keep in mind, this is like my first time driving this build, so I bet over time I would get the hang of how this car reacts to different things, and probably put up better times than this. But a 236 on fishhook is just god awful, and the time that I put up on fishhook really wasn't that great either. So I don't really know what this build is good for. I think right now the best thing that it does is that it looks amazing. Yeah, I think we'll get back to the garage. We'll show you the full build in case you want to try it yourself and see if you can tame this beast, because it's just very difficult to drive. All right, let's see it. So we've got the 494 horsepower 6.2 liter V8 engine, and then as far as the parts go, you've got a super induction, super ECU, elite fuel, super exhaust, and the pro centrifugal one of those things. I said it a bunch of different ways. It's probably one of those. Elite NOS and the elite regular suspension, elite normal suspension, and then the pro brakes and the elite tires. So we've got elite, but they're both neutral on the tires and the suspension. Elite clutch and the 8-speed gearbox. I think that's where this build may have gone wrong. What I would recommend is trying to experiment with this thing with the 7 or the 6-speed. If you notice, the top speed doesn't change when you go to the 7-speed. It might be a little bit better for the car. And then the 6-speed, top speed goes down, but not by much, and it gives you a little bit more room to put some power into it. It might be a little bit quicker. That's what I would do with this build if I was going to change things. But we got the elite diff and the nitrous drift, nitrous grip, and then the handling tuning is 0. It's right in the middle between grip and drift, and that is exactly how this thing feels when you're driving it. And then you've got steering in the middle and downforce +1. Traction is off. Drift entry is on gas or brake. So there you go. Give this build a try and let me know in the comments what you think. It's very difficult to drive, but if you guys can tame it and you can drive it fast, please let me know what your best times are on blue collar and fishhook. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you on tomorrow's build. Trigger out.